Hi there. Today I want to talk about celebrities and famous people on airplanes. You know, the 60s was called the golden era of aviation. That's because it was very luxurious. They were all being subsidized by the governments. So they didn't have to worry about paying the bills at the end of the year. They knew they were going to get bailed out if they had to be. So there was plenty of fabulous service, great food. We had beautiful accommodations everywhere we went. We stayed in great hotels. Crew members were having a blast, but we also got a lot of famous people on our flights because back in the 60s, there weren't any private jets like we have today. They weren't really happening. So everybody flew commercially. And as a crew member, it was really fun to see what people that you'd read about in the news and hear about that were world leaders were really like when you got up close and personal with them, serving them on the airplane. And many times it was quite a shocker to find out how hmm, inappropriate or nasty some people could be that you would expect to act differently. Many times, some very famous people that I know you've heard of, I'm not going to mention names, would actually get banned from ever flying that airline again because of their bad behavior. I had a few politicians in particular who got on my flights and they absolutely refused to talk to me or any of the crew members because we were like the hired help. They only spoke through their assistant or their handler that was traveling with them. You'd go to ask them what they wanted to eat and it would be their assistant that would have to tell you because they just didn't speak to the servant on board, which was kind of an interesting concept to me. But you know, if you have ever studied acting, you begin to understand that people can put on an act. And many times, what you're seeing on television, in the movies, of course, wherever you look, that you're looking on a screen, you're seeing people that are usually pretty good actors. And people can even be trained to tell out and out lies and make you think it's the truth. So you need to really use your intuition when it comes to determining if what you're hearing is the truth or not. I'll give you one celebrity story. Audrey Hepburn, she was on my flight. I flew her from New York to Los Angeles, and she just finished doing her last movie before she passed away. She was lovely, but she was really one of the most memorable people I ever met because she was traveling alone and she sat down in first class. She was in the center of the DC-10. There were two seats right there in the middle of the airplane. And every time I went to serve her something, you would have thought I was giving her the most incredible thing she had ever received in her life. And it was consistent throughout the whole flight. Many times people kind of let their guard down after a while and you get to see the real person. She was truly one of the nicest people I ever met. Humble, grateful for everything, we did for her on the flight. And I noticed where all the other passengers around her were picking up on her vibe, her energy, and kind of falling in love with her. She really was a very lovely person as far as her energy and her her vibration, kind of like a saint. So that was kind of interesting. I remembered, her for a long time after that. Still think about her. But like I say, many people are not what you think they are. And crew members get to hear a lot of the scuttlebutt about different ones because we share information. And I'm not going to name names, but a lot of these people that you tend to idolize are really not what you think they are. But if you don't have any information other than what you see out there about them, maybe you're just not getting the big picture. So it's always good to do research and find out what's really going on. That was one of the things I loved most about being a crew member. I'm a very curious person. So whenever I had the opportunity to get into a conversation with someone that I knew things, I would try to extract as much information as I could from them. And it made it a very interesting career.